Today, I am walking you through a client portal system that gives every client a single link for everything so that you can avoid the chaos of several tools and scattered updates and ultimately enhance your client experience and get your hours and focus back. So, let's get into it. I'll begin with the big idea. The main idea behind this client portal system is simple, that is, one page equals one client dashboard. So instead of managing clients across emails, chats, or tools, each of your client gets their own dedicated space with one link, one source of truth, and zero confusion. So this is the core idea behind that. This is the main client portal page we have. So think of this like a home for all of your clients. So each card you are seeing here is the client dashboard for each of your clients. To get a new client dashboard, you'll click on a new page and then you will get the client portal template, and then you can mention here the client name to customize it. Let's go with one example. And so now we are going to cover how this entire page works. At the top, we have the client KPI tracker. So this is the most important part because this shows progress of all the initiatives you have taken for your client. So it gives the visibility, it tells the progress, it tells the progress in numbers so that your clients can see that what's happening, what's the update, what's the progress, instead of you sending updates them via DMs. So let me show you how it works. And let's say the KPI name is leads, and then you can see it has already picked up the right client name, and then the category is leads and who is the owner of this KPI. Let's go with one example. And here you can see I would mark a target value that our target is, let's say, 20 leads, okay, 20 bookings, we can say. And then I mark your entry as okay, we have done 15. So it is showing me that the progress is only 75%, it's at risk. So let's say I mark it as 17. Then it's showing me that the progress is 85% and the status is on track. So this is how you just need to add the numbers, and then it gives you the progress and the status automatically. And then you can mark the trend, that whether it's up, flat, or down. Let's mark it as up. And the tracker, that how the tracker, that means about the KPI, that do you track it on a weekly basis, monthly, or quarterly basis. And then you can mark here the next review date, that when you are coming back to this KPI to track it again. And the interesting part is here you will be getting the reminder, the notification on the next review date. So this is how it works. And I'm just adding one more example here. Let's say the next is content performance, engagement, and the, let's say our target was 20,000 views, and we gotten only, let's say, 8,000 views. So it's saying me that it's off track because it's not even 50%, and it's, let's say, it's flat. Okay. And then, so this is how you mark all the entries of the KPIs, and you get you get the visibility, and your client. So whatever entries you mark in this place, okay, so these entries get organized in two other views. The first view is health board, where you see the entries organized according to the status, and make any kind of changes here. And you can open it and write down and make any kind of changes at this place. So this is where you can track according to the status. The second one is we have the focus view, where you see only KPIs that are at risk or off track, because that's where your focus is needed. After that we have the client review. So this is where you and your team are going to share the deliverables with the client for their review. Uh, and at the same place, your client will be coming to check and update the status. So I'm showing you one example here. Let's say the deliverable name, and then mark the due date here, assign to, you are, of course, you are assigning to your client here, and then any kind of feedback. This is where your client is going to mark an entry. So just review the new slide. Okay, so now your part is done. Your client will come here, they will check the review and mark the status, and then give any kind of feedback. So, and the best part is here deliverables move through stages. For example, this is client review, and let's say your client has a mark it approved, then it will be moved to the approved section. So, what's pending and what's approved, both areas get organized. And then here is the next board review where you can track things according to, okay, what's for client review, what needs rework, and what's in progress, and what's approved. Okay, so this is how there is no confusion around what's still waiting, what's pending, what's been done, because both you and your client are aligned. So this is how it works. And the next we have the project overview. In this place, you and your client get a clear visual of each ongoing project. So let's say I mark the entry of a project. Here is the website optimization. Okay, and now I can list all of the tasks which are associated with this project. And let's say the task entries are, I have marked these a few entries just as examples, random examples. And then you can mark here the timeline actually. Mark here the timeline with the end date, that when it started and when it's going to end. And next, even it's your choice, you can mark the due date as well. Click on this end date option, then mention its starting date and the ending date, and then you can update the progress here, what got done, what not started, what's pending. And then next we have is who is assigned for this task, like your different team members, and then who is the project owner, mention that here, and any kind of notes you can write it down here. And when, so this is how the main project is here, and under this main project all of the tasks and the status, the timeline, the due date, everything is here. And after that, even you can click on open this page and then mention anything in here. For example, the milestones and anything related to the project, related to the tasks. And the best part is that you can start a communication related to these tasks or projects here. For example, you can mark any kind of remarks here, maybe for your client or your team, uh, and just write down anything, and then you can simply insert a comment here and tag that person, so they will get notified. And then you can even have efficiency in communication, that okay, we are. And even the next part is that let's say if you want to have the links here, you can simply click on this add property button, and I would add the URL here. So here you can mark the links, let's say of the website of the website links, of the tasks which are listed down here, so that everything gets centralized at one place. Let's close it down. And the next, just one more thing. Here we have the projects overview, and here let's say you want to mark a new project entry. Click on this new group, and what's the new project? It can be like website marketing, and then mark it done. And now you got a new project entry, and mark all the tasks here. Okay. And the next part is that, let's say this project has been finished, and now you don't need to see it every time, so you can simply mark it archive, and it would be moved to the archive projects section. And now the next part we have is the requesters table. So this section alone can remove a lot of back and forth communication. The requesters table, so clients can submit their requests here that they have for the team, and the team can submit their requests here that they need to complete from the client end. And here we have the request, and here we have the date submitted, and the request can be send the deliverables 2 day before. Okay, and then they can mark any due date if they want to. Who is it assigned to? Then they can assign to an of your team member, and then the status, and even attach any file or link that's required. So this is the request from the client end, and let's say there is a request from your team end that send us any important file, and then mark the date submitted, what's the due date, and assign to the client. That you can directly assign to your client here any attachments, status. Let's say your client finishes this request, and that they can simply mark it as done. And yeah, this is how. The best part is that all of the requests are from two ends, from your client and from your team. Both are already organized, and both are at the separate places automatically. And if you want to archive anything, simply click on this button, and it would be moved to the archive section. So the best part here is that no more requesters stay buried in DMs or emails. Everything is here, visible and accountable. Now let's move on to the next section, that we have the files and resources from the client. Yes, so in the first review, your client submits all the files here that they need to share with your team, and then here your team can share all of the files that's required for the client. So let's say a client gets onboarded and they are going to share so many details and files. They can directly log in here, file name, and let's say the ICP, and then the, if any kind of file description, it's optional, then they can upload the file link here. Any kind of file like PDF they can attach here, any kind of tag that you want to add. It's simple, just write it down. Let's say the tag is customer, and mark it as entry. So here your client can upload all of the files, and here your team can upload the files for your client. So similar to the request place, both of these places, files from the team and files from the client stay organized, and they both are separate. So from this section, there will be no more messages like, can you resend me that file, where is the updated version? Because everything they need, they would get access to the required files just in a few seconds. And the next we have the meeting notes. This is optional, like if you can use this if it's required in your client workflow. Let's say I mark a new page, and then you can write the meeting name or purpose, and inside its page you will see a template like summary of the meeting, next steps, the key takeaways, and even you can directly paste the meeting recordings or transcripts, anything. So this is where, so this is how instead of meetings disappeared into memories or DMs, everything stays here recorded and organized and actionable. Clients can always refer back here and your team stays updated and aligned. So after that, here we have the last and the most important part. Let me just show you. We have covered the client page here, and now I'm going back to the client portal home page, and here you can see the KPI tracker. So this is a centralized KPI tracker, and of the entries that you mark in the individual spaces in the KPI tracker, all of those updates, all of those KPIs get added here in this centralized KPI tracker as well. For example, I added the two KPIs for Johan. You can see those are entries here as well. So this is how it helps. Like for the individual client spaces, your client can see their KPIs at their own spaces and you can get access to their KPIs at one place. And now for you, the founder, you might want to just check the KPIs for all of the clients in one go. So this is what's going to help you. You can simply like check any kind of any client's KPIs just from one place. And according to that, here is the health board and here is the focus view. The best part is that this centralized KPI tracker and the KPI tracker inside in each client page, both are automatically synced. Let me show you one example here. Let's say for John. Okay, I update here one thing that, uh, yes, let's say the current value uh, has increased to 15,000 from 8,000, the content metrics. Okay, so it has moved from off track to at risk. So I would show you that the same change been updated in the Jones space as well. You can see here is 15,000 and here we have the updated progress. So the simplicity and the simple things are always scalable. So this is how, let's say you might have 10 clients, 20 clients, and even more. You just need to add a new page and then you can keep the record of all clients at one place. So, why this works? This portal isn't just about organization, it's about client experience. Your client feels informed, aligned, and they get the full visibility. And the change for you is there is less follow ups, less context switching, and less explaining. So, this way, progress becomes visible, communication becomes structured, and delivery becomes smoother. So the main idea is one client, one dashboard, one link. This is the foundation of the system. If you want access to the client portal system, you will find the details in the description below. And if you want a custom and more centralized setup, then feel free to DM me on LinkedIn or email me. And if you have any system in mind that you want me to cover next, that you can mention that in comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.